back here live at the Zurich Precious Metals Summit. I'm here with Silver Tigre Resources. Glenn, the CEO and President, thank you for joining me.
Peter, thank you very much. Really appreciate having me back. A year has gone by so fast.
It has, and a lot has happened in the last year.
Yeah.
Resource update, P.E.A. Let's talk about...
Look, you know, we kind of like to do what we said we were going to do. We've kind of made a career in Mexico doing that over almost 25 years. So when I was here the last year, we were an exploration company. It had been a very busy 7 years. It takes a long time to get these things to production, and we've always said that's how you win. This is not a lottery of drill holes. You need to always focus on the first hole, gets you to build a mine. So we raised $91 million over that 8-year period on the basis of exploration. Success with the drill bit. 75 million of that has been bought deal financings in the last 3 years for this special asset we have in Sonora, Mexico. Our biggest institutionally held, Franklin, Sprott Asset Management, VanEck, Fourth Sail. You can see all that on our verified presentation. All the banks cover us. I had 7 of the banks for a site visit 2 weeks ago. Those are the kind of people you need behind you to give you the capital to drill the 125,000 meters we've drilled, and on September 12th to deliver a resource estimate of 176 million silver equivalent ounces. That's a lot of silver. But that's a piece of paper. Now you have to say, okay, how do we drive this thing and build the mine at El Tigre? We certainly have enough ounces. The grade is excellent. So we step in step with that, want to deliver the economic test. So of that 176 million silver equivalent ounces, you've got 80 million in an open pit, you've got 90 million in underground already. In that MRE we published last week, the independent geologist gave us another 75 million exploration target underground. Just drill it. So it's a line in the sand. That's what you have today, but it's enough. So we said, what do we do first? We're permitted. 800 ton per day underground operation. We've developed into the underground. We're exploring underground. But the real beautiful part was the open pit. That 80 million silver equivalent ounces at surface, easy relative to be going underground. That becomes the cash flow generator to develop quickly underground. So we put the P.E.A. out on that. Boy, it seems like a month ago because I've been on the road, but it was only 10 days or so ago. And I don't know if you saw it, but the economics were incredible.
No, please share with us. So how do they look?
Well, just on that 80 million silver equivalent ounces underground, 287 million, these are all US dollars, okay. $287 million NAV, IRR 56%, which is pretty incredible. Payback, 1.7 years on the CapEx. CapEx, 59 million. Look, it's a tough market, guys. Like, we see everything that's going on. We're just getting into year-end tax loss selling. The market is, I'm sorry, I don't want to ruin anybody's parade here, but it's tough out there. The only way you're going to guarantee yourself making money in investment, who's going to build a mine? Because that's when you get 1.5, 1.6 times NAV on your investment, and that's where we're going with this. So this P.E.A. delivers not only on a low capex, but the money it makes. It makes 455 million USD free cash flow over the 12-year mine life, just the open pit of after-tax dollars. That's about almost $50 million a year. Incredibly profitable, but at a low cost. And that's the beautiful thing about the open pit. You know, the operating is $10 silver, all in sustaining 11. So what this is, if you think about what El Tigre will be, consider that open pit, which would be enough for most companies. That's the first inning of a 9-inning ball game, because the big potential is still that underground where we already have 100 million silver equivalent ounces drilled off, up and above the pit. This will be I had a guy I saw in New Orleans at the conference. He was an old Texas fella, and he said, I get it. Your open pit is the ATM, the automatic teller machine to give you the money to develop the underground. I said, you've got it. And that's what this will be. And that's really how we've approached Mexico. Get that bulk tonnage, drive that easier cash flow to get underground where it gets more expensive to attack the veins, the sulfide zone, and the shale zone that we have that I would have talked about last year.
So low capex to get this into production. What does a production rate look like from the open?
So it's going to be 15,000 tons per day.
Okay.
So the P.E.A. is the first step. So now I got to tell you sort of what happens next, because
what's next?
I need that. When do we get that money? So what we did is we needed the guy who was going to build it. You need an expert, and we were so lucky that Francisco Albalez joined us in May of this year. We tried to hire him for a long, long time. One of the best mine builders in Mexico. The last decade he spent with a company called Argonaut, a big mine building company in Mexico. He permitted, built and ran San Agustin, a big operation for them, 2012 to 15. From 15 to 18, he permitted, built, and ran El Castillo, and then for the last 4 or 5 years, he's ran both of those mines in Mexico. We were so lucky that he wanted to leave Argonaut, or chose to, and come, and he's really, call him COO, VP Operations. He's got the keys to build it. What do we do next? Well, the next has already started, because you can't build on a PEA. But we will build on a pre-feasibility. That pre-feasibility study will be done, and you can ask me next year when I'm here, by April, May.
Okay.
$21 million still in the bank. Of that 91, and we put 61.5 right in the ground. I still did all these, got to here, 21 left. Luckily, we've got the 21. It's tough to get money out there, guys. I'm not going to tell anybody it's not. It's a tough market. You got to be in production to get that big reward like my peers get that are in production. So of the 21, I'm going to spend 6 between now and April, May. That'll get me to pre-feasibility. There's 4 drill rigs turning on the mountain right now. First thing they do is eight metallurgical holes are done. Okay, Golder's doing the pit design and the pad design. They've already signed off on the 13 geotechnical holes. Let's talk about we got to talk about that open pit looks like, so you know what we have to do to move it. It's got 53 million tons of ore in it. The pit, call it 2 kilometers long, 250 wide, 250 deep. What we need to do is we want to make sure we keep that 53 million tons intact when we go to pre-feasibility. To do that, we need to move the 11 million that are inferred resource ounces in there to indicate it. We drill that off between now and April.
Okay.
Move that up. This pit is incredible, and I know it won't mean a lot to your viewers, but we consider it a high-grade pit. 0.65. 2-to-1 strip ratio, 78% recovery. Those are as good as it can get for an open pit in Mexico. But we still need to do a bit more work. We think that there's a potential with those 4 drill rigs turning on that open pit between now and April to increase the actual 53 million tons, maybe add a bit more, move all of that inferred up to indicated. But really, really important is there's a starter pit, which is the first 2 years of the 12-year mine life at 15,000 tons per day, roughly, that we need to help us to finance it. So that first 6 or 7 million tons is 0 strip, 0.95 in grade. Just wonderful that we have that to start with. We'll move that first 2 years from indicated to measured and indicated, and that's what the bankers will want to see, because the plan will be no more or very minimal dilution for the company. We have money in the bank. By the time I get to pre-feasibility in April, I should have 15 million still left around in the bank, but I want to borrow the 59 million capex.
Okay.
So to do that, this is what we have to do to get the pre-feasibility. And then, how long before I make the money? That's the next question. I'm sure you were going to ask.
Yeah.
Of course. I can only tell you that I asked Francisco. He said, Glenn, June comes. We've got the permit. We're ready to build. You have the money, which I will get. I said, how long will it take? He said, 9 months. I said, 9 months? He said, that's what it's going to take. Now, this is a person who's built much bigger and many more of these than most. So I do believe him. But let's say it's 12. Let's just say it's 12. So, May, June of 2025, we become the world's next great silver producer. That's going to happen. So if that's what people want to invest in right now, in a depressed market, year-end tax selling all over these companies, that's how you move from 0.1 NAV to 1.5 NAV. That's what we're going to do. I don't need to discover anything more. I don't need to drill another drill hole and find another ounce. Everything I have that we are talking about is already on the books. So it's going to be an exciting year. This was a big year. By the time I come back next year, I'm hoping to tell you that production started, we're building,
Getting close.
everything's underway, and within months of that, we're going to be making metal and making that money and driving underground.
Fantastic.
It's a story.
It's a great story. Looking forward to catching up next year and getting an update on how the construction is progressing.
Peter, I can't wait to come back and see you guys next year.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.